I had to relearn how to do the business with no credit, with no cash. But then there was an addiction to deals, to money, to building a team. And then it cost me one marriage, and it cost me a second marriage. It almost cost me the kids and cost me everything, and legitimately was homeless for 3 months.
Everybody, Nick Aalerud in the house. I've known you for a long time, so I'm happy to have you at the office, at the meetup later tonight. But for everyone watching, who are you and what do you do in real estate?
Thank you for having me, Enis. First of all, it has been a long time.
It's been a long time.
It's been awesome, though. It's been a good ride. Formerly had a redevelopment company up in northern Massachusetts. We're based in New England, just similar to you guys, like just trying to crush it, like all over. We were active in 9 states, buying and selling. And we had a property management company, a brokerage company. We had the whole thing. We had a coaching firm and all that stuff. So it's been a good ride. And now we're on a life journey, Enis.
That's what I've noticed. I was looking at the slides, actually, that some of the stuff you're going to talk about tonight. What is that all about? I know because we focus on the real estate, so much that sometimes, we lack at what's important in life, right? It's like, and personally for me, when I got involved in real estate I just wanted to get some cash flow money so I could do the things I wanted to do, right?
There it is.
But then you get so deep into it that you forgot why you even started in real estate in the first place, right? It's like you want to do more deals and you want to do more developments.
Like we all get into this, like you said, time and financial freedom. Right. What is the point of getting yourself to this place where, yeah, I did 300 deals this year. Yeah, I have another 400 units. Like, yeah, let's do it. And then you realize like, okay, the money's there, but so is the overhead. And so is the responsibility. And so is now you have all these investors too. Like you have to make sure everyone's happy. And how do you make you happy?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's been my new, like every Sunday when I do my planning sessions, which I'm very, very strict on, is what I'm doing making me happy? And am I doing this for me or for somebody else this week?
Learning what really matters. That was on one of your slides. So what does that mean for you?
For sure. Yeah. So I think, briefly, you know the story, maybe your followers don't, but 2005 was my entry into real estate, right? I was a big corporate guy, Mellon Bank in Boston. We saw John Beck's tax lien free and clear system. And, same thing is like, oh, cool. This is a way out. This is a way where we can have some time and financial freedom, right? And that one choice led me into a whole bunch of different choices. But, my first 5 deals in real estate went very poorly, and it involved a bad partner because I was so intent on doing deals versus actually, I'd taken the courses and taken the seminars and done all the reading, and I was so focused on like being angry at myself that I hadn't done a deal after a year of educating myself that I jumped in with like a bad partnership that I hadn't done enough due diligence on, and then ended up my first 5 deals in real estate, I lost all 5. When
I started out, the first and second deal, they weren't good deals, right? And I thought I was persistent enough to stick around, and I made really good money on the third deal. So going back to the number of deals that you actually struggle with the first 5, how do you overcome that mindset? I mean, people don't talk about mindset as much. We focus on deals and numbers and all that, but mindset is huge.
It is, but that's the real stuff, right?
Yeah.
And mindset is everything as we're learning. And there's a whole bunch of people that are going to be like, hey, I'm on, Enis's YouTube channel looking for the next big real estate strategy to help me make another $100,000 this year. And it's like, sure. And if you don't have this taken care of, I have made $10 million in real estate. I have lost 7. That tells you everything. Like it's easy to grind your way to $1 million. It's easy to grind past that. But if your identity is set and if you can't figure the other out, right? Like with your family, with your fitness, with your faith, with like who you are as a person, what drives you. If you can't figure it out, the universe will make sure you lose the money. The universe will make sure you have lessons to learn first. Right. This has been my soul journey the last few years. So how do I keep myself? It's funny, the first 5 deals, I had my head in the sand for 6 to 8 months. I'm not proud of how I handled that. Right? Like, but that was my identity. Like, oh, I'm a big hotshot banker with an 800 credit score and a 401k, and now I don't have anything. Now I have no credit. Like if they check my credit, I'd lose my job. So that became like my new thing. Like, oh my God, now all these people in the cubes around me they're better situated than I am because I took this risk. Yeah. The whole point of failing is to learn from it. And the universe will put these situations into your way to make sure you're learning. And if you're not learning, they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you slapped you in the face enough where you have to learn. Yeah. Where you're homeless for 3 months. Where you have a health scare and you have to take care of your body.
Yeah. But what kept you going? And what helped you go through that, right?
It became when I learned that right? The money and the deals were not the end game. Freedom is the end game. And what brings me to that freedom and what brings me to the happiness? And if I can focus on my routine every single day, right? Routines are hugely important.
Yes. Yeah.
Like whatever my routine is that keeps me on my path, even when we're having a really tough time on a deal, or we're having a really tough time in the company, we're having a really tough time even, family, like, parents can trigger us, right? Like our family can trigger us. Like, how do we handle that? My routine, I'm on my path. I do not play the comparison game anymore, which is very difficult for a lot of people.
Especially with social media nowadays, right?
Big deal.
It's hard to not compare. No, I think these are struggles for anyone that even if when we're starting out or if we have experience, we're going through that. There are ways to make a lot of money, but you gotta be a strong person first. You gotta be, you gotta educate yourself on mindset and overcoming objections, overcoming struggles and issues and failures, right? I mean, it's part of it.
You will fail. You have to fail. You have to. There's no way around it. Don't be afraid of it. Like, embrace it, right? Like, so yeah, the new investors out there, like, make the calls. Yeah. Go on the seller appointments, right? Like, send out the direct mail. No, it's not going to work. Do something. Right. And then fail at it and be okay with the failure.
Yes, 100%. And what I'm curious, though, especially for people starting out, what do you think is the best way to get into real estate investing and grow as a real estate investor? Does wholesaling work? Does buy and hold rentals work better? Fix and flips? Especially thinking of the market we're in, right? I know you've tried all of it, and I don't know what you like the most.
Yeah, well, no, so we ended up doing it all. So if you have no resources and you don't have any cash or credit, like I restarted, right? A lot of people will start on the bottom rung, which is deal flow, finding the deal, finding the off-market deal, either working with an established company or doing it on their own, right? Pulling the list, making the calls, doing the text messages, like knocking on doors, like whatever it takes to find that and work with other people that are buying those deals, right? Paying you $5,000 to $10,000 assignment fees, or $50,000 to $80,000 to $100,000 assignment fees, depending on the deals. Yeah. So wholesaling is kind of the bottom rung, and as you learn lessons and move up that ladder, you can go into value add or construction and rehabbing in this side, right? Where you can have some deal flow, but you're also learning how to create value on single families, 4 units, 6 units, 12 units, 100 unit portfolios. Moving up the ladder, you go into that accumulation phase, of landlording and wealth building and converting a lot of that active into passive. And then finally at the top is where you have the most dollars per hour, your capital partnerships or private lending or notes. Like, that's where your dollars per hour is your highest. So where are the resources? And then what are the people's goals? Because if they love talking to sellers, but they would hate dealing with spreadsheets and notes, maybe they want to stay on that first and second rung of that ladder.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this market? I get this question a lot.
I'm not worried. We have been waiting for this market to correct for a very long time, right? And it's you and me both. Oh, yeah. So it's like, we have been working, 3 times as hard for the same number of deals. Yeah. And the margin on those deals has gotten less and less and less and less.
Exactly right.
So, and sellers, right, even if they were super motivated, they know that they can just list it retail and still get a full cash offer with, 10, no contingencies. And like, that's the investor side. Yeah. So I feel like where we're headed now, despite the fact that there's still all this pent-up demand in the real estate business, being from the banking side, I feel like the capital markets are going to be driving this correction. They already started, right? We're now double the interest rates that we were a year ago.
Yeah, pretty much.
So capital markets don't know what's going on, and they're the ones that, when capital gets harder and harder and harder and more expensive to lend, and the banks get scared and they start lowering LTVs and they start pulling back HELOCs, which has just started happening again. There's no access to capital to then get mortgages or even commercial mortgages, right? Yeah. So at that point, we're going right back to 2008, where he or she who has the cash is the one who can make the rules. So that way, relationships with private lenders, just having your own stash lined up. We're going to be seeing a lot of newer investors be coming out of the market. And the newer investors, if you're coming in now, learn how to do this in the hard market. Learn how to do, what are the patterns and habits and routines I need now to set myself up to be successful. We're already seeing the short sales come back again. Yes. Short sales are coming back. Capital markets are running scared. Like, this is going to be a correction. I don't know if it's going to be a collapse, but it's going to be a massive correction, and more money will be made these next 4 years than the last 10. But there's something to be said too, I know we're wrapping up, but there's something to be said too about being an individual real estate investor, trying to get to their first 5 or 10 deals in a year, and then say the next level. What's the next level? Like, well, I do want to scale. I do want to help more people, right? Scaling for money is not going to work, but it's scaling to help more people and to build a team and to have culture is another thing. And when you learn to scale, like you and I did, like, well, we're not controlling that anymore.
Yeah.
So there's going to be times things fall through the cracks. And how do we react and respond when that happens? Because that's inevitable when we're learning on going to a next level, right? Getting the next evolution.
You can escape that. You have to go through it, right? Something that came to mind as you were describing that is that, I know you are part of different masterminds. So how helpful have they been to you? I
have always dedicated 10% of our gross income to personal development and education for me and for my team, right? Like it's necessary. Masterminds will by far, right, 10x your business the fastest. And it's not even about what you're learning in those rooms. It's about who you're meeting in those rooms. Yeah. Like who, not how, right? Like the people in these rooms are the most powerful connections you can make. Some of them are 10 times ahead of you. Some of them are 20 times ahead of you, but they hate their lives. And you have to take note of that too, right?
100%. Absolutely.
But then like, it's just who you're meeting. So I feel like the relationships that you can make, especially when you're in a room where everyone's on a much higher level than you, right? You're looking around and you see people who have an ego, people who've dropped their ego. And you're like, okay, let's take a minute. Like, where do I want to go? Like, this is cool. Like, are these people willing to help me? And where do I want to go from here? Like, you can have those choices, you know? So I think masterminds, hands down, people should be going to something. Trainings, meetups. Can't go to a mastermind? Go to the meetups, right? Meet people, surround yourself with powerful people that are doing it in the business in your local communities. And then once you're ready to take that next step, maybe you align with a local acquisitions company that's looking for a good team. Maybe you're at that place where you're owning your own little business and you want to take yours to the next level. You gotta level up somehow.
It's a good segue to tell everybody how to reach out, talk about the coaching.
No, thank you. Appreciate you the plug. I would love to, if anyone wants to connect with me, they can check out Instagram, at Nick Aalerud is Instagram. I'm on Facebook for those old people that still know what Facebook is. I'm out there. I'm at my friend's limit, but you can follow there. If you guys are looking to take maybe one more step up, right? So the meetups and what Enis puts out and his team and there's YouTube channels, like that's all fantastic free stuff. If you want to take one more next level, there's weekly live coachings where it's just someone holding people more accountable. And not just in their real estate business, but in their lives, right? You can check that one out. We have a group called REI Ignition, which meets every Wednesday. And they're all doing deals together. They're all on track to 10x their income. Just check out reiignition.com, or you can check us out at REI Unleashed for our own meetups, along with Enis's meetups.
Awesome. Nice.
It's cool.
Man. Cool. This is great. Let's wrap it up here. Again, if people want to meet Nick, come to the meetups. Come join us. This was great, man. It's really, again, it gave us a chance to talk, but brought people in and they can learn from everything that you have been through. And, thanks for being so open.
Thank you for having me, man.
Awesome.
It's been a long time.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, dude.
Appreciate
we can do it without COVID. We can do that.
No, that doesn't matter. This guy. Unbelievable.